So, as I keep saying, when you observe and report certain verifiable events that continue to happen in an unbroken and very predictable pattern for weeks, months, and years, and then the people who you have observed and noted are involved in these continually occurring, very predictable events, when they react a certain way to things that you say and do about their involvement in what you believe they're involved with, then you know you're right. Then they have basically proven your case for you, so to speak. Maybe not in court, unless you're actually in court, but in the everyday events and occurrence of things as they continue to unfold and verifiably develop and happen. I started a YouTube channel not even 2 years ago, maybe 2 years ago now, as a addendum to multiple police reports that I've had to file as a result of physical assaults, violent attacks by people, not imaginary things like aliens or unicorns, but physical tenants of this building complex. And basically to add detail and fill in the blanks between these police reports of physical assaults, acts of theft and vandalism, contamination, the constant attempts by psychos who live in Unit 88 or 76 below to break down my door, et cetera, et cetera. Violent physical assaults, not just on my person and on my physical belongings like my bags and phones and things like that, but on the door of my residence that has been violently attacked with sticks and rods by not just a sex offender in 88, but two separate residents directly below from 76. It is right around 4:45 p.m. on Friday, July 25th, 2025. It's actually raining now, finally. Thank God, because it's been so hot and oppressively humid all day today that I'm hoping that this rain, even if it's brief, is going to just bring a break in the oppressive humidity that we've been having all day. The Google temperatures for Boston right now are somewhere around 94 degrees, and my AC no longer works. So I'm just dealing with having to keep my windows open and hope for the best in terms of a breeze of some sort coming through here. But back to what I was saying about the constant violent attacks, physical attacks. I'm not being attacked by unicorns or aliens. I'm being attacked by physical human tenants of this building complex, all of which claim to be BLM activists. Took me a while to realize that these are actually career criminals, sex offenders, and psycho thugs who maybe think that they're acting on behalf of BLM, but I don't know if they actually have a connection to BLM. However, they claim that they do. And that the Greenville group, the property managers who are reported members of Russian organized crime and are Russian, or at least in native language. English is not their native language. English is not my native language either, but that's neither here nor there. I'm just observing the linguistic origins of the property owners of this building complex who really favor a lot of BLM sex offender male tenants. And a number of those BLM sex offender male tenants have violently assaulted me physically and threatened to kill me, and were taken to court by the Commonwealth of Massachusetts for issuing death threats and physical assault and aggravated assault and things like that. So what I'm reporting is not imaginary. These are very violent assaults that I've sustained from male tenants of the Greenville group over the last 9 years. The first assault was in 2016 by Mr. Eduardo Hurtado, who violently assaulted me one evening when I was coming home from work, minding my own business. He was either high or drunk or something. Anyway, and then it just continued, right? So these criminal offenders claim to be BLM activists. I have to take their word for it. I don't have any way of going to BLM and verifying their resumes in terms of career thuggery, sexual offenses, rape convictions and things like that. But I do know that a number of them were listed in the Massachusetts Sex Offender Registry several years ago. I haven't checked the registry in a while. I just changed the name of my channel to whatever it is named now. And nobody should have any knowledge of this because it literally happened 20 minutes ago. But the person who I keep saying is using a directed energy device to electronically assault me is the same person who has been making braggadocious comments in writing on my social media pages about how she, because this is a she who maybe thinks it's a he, but that's neither here nor there. She's physically a she, brags that she's getting paid $300,000 to use a directed energy weapon to electronically assault me. And she does this based on little tiny inconsequential things that I happen to do in the privacy of this living space that nobody should have any knowledge of because they're not loud and disruptive and visible activities. Things like putting a water bottle in my mouth, putting a toothbrush in my mouth, putting on chapstick or lip gloss or lipstick, using the toilet, trying to take a shower, removing certain items of clothing, hand washing certain items of clothing. These are all things that trigger Jasmine Irizarry, the Greenville Group's paid sponsored career harasser, who is also a psychopath and a sex offender, to engage in some very violent, harmful, and aggressive behaviors that she should have no knowledge of because they occur within the four walls and closed door privacy of this living space, but that she does know about because Mr. Oleg Lisiev, the property manager, has used her as some sort of electronic fixer to hack into people's devices, to use surveillance devices in living spaces and bathrooms, and then to provide the sex offender tenants, the almost all male sex offender tenant population of this building complex, with footage, videos, and images and sounds of certain female tenants using the bathroom, taking a shower, eating, chewing, and swallowing. This seems to really set them off. I don't even know why. It's not something I've mentioned in the past because I didn't want to divulge all of the details of what goes on in here in case I need to keep some of it, sort of like a canary in the coal mine kind of detail that nobody else should know about. And yet, I have to talk about this because it affects my ability to do normal things like eating and drinking and brushing my teeth or putting things in my mouth as I need to. I don't put anything weird in my mouth, but it's there for a reason. And if I can't use it, then I starve. If I can't use my mouth, then I become dehydrated. If I can't brush my teeth, then they fall out. And these are all normal, everyday, routine activities that trigger Jasmine Irizarry and the other sex offenders in the adjacent units to becoming repeatedly violent, moment by moment specific, aggressive. When I do things that are basic and normal and routine and hygiene related or eating related, or even just lying on my bed, flat on my back, facing the ceiling with one knee bent to alleviate pressure on my lower back. This literally sends Irizarry, the sex offender, violently using a directed energy weapon almost every single time I happen to lie on my back, flat on this bed, fully clothed. I know I can't be unclothed in this unit. It is a very bad idea for me to be unclothed in this unit for any amount of time because then the violent aggression from the psycho pig directly below 76 and just recently the sex offender in 88 and whoever keeps accessing the vacant premises of the bathroom of 78, it all happens all at once if I remove my clothing in this unit. So I do not walk around unclothed. But even when I lie on my bed fully clothed, flat on my back, facing the ceiling, Irizarry, the sex offender psychopath who Mr. Lisiev has repeatedly bragged is such a talented hacker. She can get into anything and take care of any problem. And other members of the Greenville Group have referred to Jasmine Irizarry as their surveillance expert, meaning she uses surveillance devices. And obviously, if she knows what I do in the privacy of this living space, it's because there are surveillance devices being used in this living space. Well, then nothing is private, including the fact that I just changed the name of my YouTube channel to what it is now, which is basically exactly what I keep experiencing on an hour-by-hour basis when I'm in the privacy of this living space, engaging in certain basic hygiene activities and acts, but not others. I am continually assaulted by Jasmine Irizarry and the BLM psycho hate stalkers in this building's use of a directed energy weapon. Ms. Irizarry is not the only BLM activist in this building who has bragged about how she's getting paid $300,000 to use a directed energy weapon to electronically assault me. Other members of Greenville's BLM sponsored defended protected class of tenants have also bragged about the use of a directed energy weapon. Someone named Uncle Muscle, singular. I wonder what muscle he might be referring to. Like any sex offender, he has to be perverted about everything, including his handle on YouTube, Uncle Muscle, singular, right? So at first I thought it was Uncle Muscles, like, oh, he works out, he goes to the gym. No, it's one muscle that he's referring to. So let that sink in as to the type of psycho perv who hate stalk my channel and who live in this building complex and who claim to be BLM activists. Uncle Muscle, obviously a walking penis, bragged that Jasmine Irizarry is using a directed energy weapon because I was referring to it as a directed energy device. And he corrected me in writing saying, she's not using a directed energy device, she's using a directed energy weapon. And he put weapon in all caps, meaning he had a personal indignant reaction to the fact that I wasn't referring to this weapon in the correct term, meaning he is involved in the use of this directed energy weapon. Otherwise, he couldn't care less what I called it. Giant walking penis. Uncle Muscle. Are you kidding me? What a psycho creep. Anyway, the fact that I'm getting a violent reaction right now after having just renamed my channel to exactly what it is right now shows that nothing that I do in the privacy of this living space is private, and that my devices have been hacked. As Mr. Eliseyev has repeatedly bragged, that Jasmine Irizarry is such a talented hacker. She can hack into anything and get into anything, take care of any problem. Well, this is one problem they're not going to take care of so easily. Nice try, though, BLM. Keep trying, BLM. You're just a bunch of hamsters on a hamster wheel, and I'm going to keep it nice.